Hi guys, it's a beautiful Sunday, and welcome to another episode of Nappy Fusion. As always, it's myself, Black C, and my brother Jamil.
Yeah,
Jamil,
man. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. What happened, man?
Charlie, I mean, I just did.
Yeah. It's another Sunday, like you said.
Oh yeah. So today we're going to continue with the African Unity episode we had last week. I believe
Yeah.
the topic we were talking about was whether it's necessary or whether it's important for Africa to unite into one regional bloc, and yeah, last week was more of an introductory, episode, so we didn't really go much into detail. But today we have some of our facts and figures ready, so hopefully we can give you, some more information. So we'll jump right into it. But before that, Jamil, our question of the day, are you ready?
Yeah. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
All right. Hopefully,
Let's go.
hopefully,
Let's go.
you know this one. It's
Yeah.
difficult,
Let's
but
go.
I'm sure you can figure it out.
Let's go.
All right. So, the question of the day is who was the first president of independent Ghana? Who was the first president of independent Ghana? All right. So here are the multiple choice, answers. The first one is Nelson Mandela. The second one is Julius Nyerere. Third one is Kwame Nkrumah. And the last one is Jomo Kenyatta. And the question again is, who was the first
Yeah.
president of independent Ghana?
Okay.
All right. So
Let's
we'll circle back to, to that at the
yeah, man.
towards the end of
Yeah,
the
man.
show. So all right. So let's jump right into it. Like I said last week, we started, this discussion about whether there's a need or whether it's important for Africa to unite into one regional bloc. And Jamila and I, we gave our initial thoughts on that topic. But today is a little different. Today we will try and give you guys more information, give you some education on that topic. So without wasting my time, Jamil, any
Yo.
any any
Yeah.
updates or any
Yeah. I had a few points. I'll probably take like five of them, just read them, just mention them point by point, and then I'll elaborate on them. First point, I think we talked a little about it previously, and that was economic power.
Hmm.
And then second, I would like to talk about be about resource management, poverty reduction, and then stronger global influence. With regards to economic power, you previously we were saying Africa has been divided into small countries, 54, right? 54
Yep.
small countries, and every country is trying to manage their own affairs and then try and, develop something that they can produce to the world and everything. And everything is in small quantities. We don't carry a lot of economic force,
Mm.
you know. So once Africa comes together, everything is on a continental level.
Basically, it's like once we come together, our produce we will be able to ship larger quantities, right?
Exactly, yeah. Everything will be in larger quantities.
Mm.
And then with regards to resource management, I mean, Africa is home to almost every natural resource.
That's true. Yep.
Yeah. So coming together, we'll be able to better manage, resources, and then reduce exploitation from, other non-African countries, the same as food, so uh, larger production, there's less exploitation because you can't just handpick some countries and then do that. It's a whole if the whole continent says no, there's nothing anyone else can do. We'll have a stronger global influence. So now that we are like one country, now our voice carries weight. You know, we are no longer single 54 countries. It's the whole entire continent that is speaking and that is saying no. If we don't want to give you natural resources, there isn't much anybody else can do. We can actually call the shots on what we want to do. That will in turn benefit us. You understand? Yeah.
But
And then
yeah, go ahead.
Go on.
No, I was going to ask. So right now, as it stands, I believe that in many of the African countries, as it stands now, they already have deals, negotiations. They already have ongoing commitments to other, like let's say China, for instance. I'm sure Ghana and numerous other African countries have various deals and contracts and stuff, with China and other, developed countries.
Yeah.
So in that regard, if we are to come together, how do we how do we get out of all those contracts? Because let's say maybe Ghana, right? Maybe Ghana has a contract with China to produce or to give China maybe X amount of cocoa or gold for X amount of years, right? Now, in that situation, if Africa is to unite, and I'm sure many other African countries have similar contracts and similar deals, right? If you are to unite, we already have all these existing contracts with all these different countries. How do we get out of all those contracts and agreements so we can have our resources back to ourselves and use them and distribute them equally? Do you get what I'm trying to say?
I get you. I get what you're trying to say.
I think it will be
But
very difficult, because all those agreements, are legally binding.
But I think there are, what was it just last week that I saw this news article on Burkina Faso reclaimed their major mines. I think they were diamond mines or gold mines.
Oh yeah, I think I read about that somewhere.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm sure there were also some other legally binding, I'm sure there are routes we can take. I really don't think, I don't know how long a contract would last. I mean, for a mining contract with an international country. But I think once Burkina Faso has been able to facilitate something like that, it means that there's probably a loophole or there are ways to go around them. You understand? Yeah. So, and then once this thing has happened before, it means that it can be done. We can take steps to reclaim natural resources that are being exploited.
So
and
basically,
immediately they retook the mines, they nationalized them, they changed them so that they are property of Burkina Faso. And then so that means that the people of Burkina Faso now benefit from.
Then I guess it comes to the issue of management, because I'm sure you are aware that back in the days, the during the colonial era, whatever they call it, when we were fighting for our freedom, most African countries were fighting to be independent. Most of our companies and stuff, were being run by foreigners. Then we wanted to take all our companies and stuff back, and we did. Eventually, the white man left and gave us most of our resources back.
Yeah.
Then it came to the issue of management.
Yeah.
Our people, corruption. How well do you think, now with the Burkina Faso example you're talking about, how do you think that the local entrepreneurs or the local people will be able to manage the mine as effectively as it was being managed by the foreigners?
Oh yeah, we can.
Well, we
just
can, but are we going to?
it all boils down to leadership, in terms of leadership. Because look, I wouldn't say Rwanda is perfect, but if you look at the the beginning of Rwanda, from where they were, what they've been through, and then now where they are as a country, and looking at how they are thriving, looking at their infrastructure, the leader holds people responsible. What's the name of the president?
Yeah.
He holds people responsible, and they set down rules. The structures are put in place to ensure that everybody follows, this whole rubber bag, the banning of rubber bag in these countries. It can also be done here in Ghana because, I mean, what's the difference between like Rwandans and Kenyans and Ghanaians?
Anyway, the president of
Uh,
Rwanda is called Paul Kagame. Just
Paul Kagame, thank you very much. Yeah, so the banning of rubber, see how the whole country, especially Accra, is polluted with these rubber bags and everything. But they've been able to ban it in, I think, Kenya and Rwanda. And now Rwanda, everybody knows, is like the cleanest city. It's just about leadership. Once the steps are taken, structures are put in place, and there are punishments that go along with them. And then the punishments are enforced, people are going to fall in line. People are always going to fall in line, Once they get few scapegoats, people are going to fall in line.
So you think that the management of those resources will kind of it all depends on good leaders, right?
Yeah, exactly. Picking the right people. I always use Ghana as an example because that's what I know. That's where I am. So over here, a lot of the time, leaders are picked due to some favors that were given to some people, and then they are trying to repay the favor back by giving you a certain position so you can squeeze some money out and try and take advantage. I don't want to use it's what's happening. So yeah, so you give me money for my campaign, I win, I give you a position, and then you make your money back, type of thing. Yes. So the work isn't done. They're busily making their money back and then trying to make extra money trying to make extra profits. So the systems are there, but they're not really being used. They're not being improved. The actual work that needs to be done to make the life of the citizens easier are not being, taken serious. So yeah, it all boils down to leadership. Once you have an effective leader who's going to put effective people in all the important positions, or in all positions, pick effective people who are well qualified to handle those positions, and then hold them responsible, hold them accountable, make sure the law is enforced, and then have a few scapegoats, and then make sure, and then people fall in line.
Okay. Well, that's true. I mean, a good leader will always, make a good leader, a good effective leader will always, be a better solution than any other. But I have some facts I want to state real quick before we continue. So the OAU, the Organization of African Unity, was established in 1963. And the aim of the OAU was to promote unity and solidarity among African states and to eradicate colonialism. But I mean, we are all aware that it faced challenges in achieving that kind of integration, due to conflicts and political differences. So, looking at this idea of Africa coming together, political instability I'm sure you know that coups and
Mhm.
stuff like that are
Yeah,
something that keeps popping up in Africa.
yeah.
Do you think that, you know, that kind of instability will make it possible for us to come together? Or
Mhm.
let me reframe the question. Like, do you think that kind of, like coups and wars and stuff like that, do you think eh, it's possible for us to um, get over those things, or even, to be able to fight and, eradicate? Well, eradicate is a strong word. To be able to sort of,
Uh,
you know, I mean, do you get a point I'm
I,
trying to make?
I get what you're trying to say. That time we were talking, I think it was just you and I, and then we're talking, we were saying, um, from way back, all these countries, African countries, had at a certain point had a particular leader
That they
who
like.
was willing to, you know, make a difference, make
Mm,
sure their country is on the right track,
mhm.
and they are benefiting from, their own resources. And you and I both know what happened to those people.
Yep.
And we mentioned a few of them: Patrice Lumumba, Sekou Toure, Kwame Nkrumah, Olympio, Sankara. They were executed,
Yeah,
you know,
basically.
and in place he put people who, and these people were all executed by people very close to them.
Mm.
And these people now took power, and they were doing the
So,
bidding
so,
of.
so do you think that I don't want to say the powers that be, but do you think that, the Europeans, or, the developed world out there, do you think that they are against Africa uniting into a regional bloc?
Oh, strongly.
So
People are
they are
strongly
behind
against.
all these. I mean, Gaddafi.
Yeah, I mean, according to history, yeah, they are behind all of this instability in Africa,
Mm,
you know. So once Africa is still once Africa is still impoverished, we can't handle our own affairs. We can't seem to get our acts right. This will control everything.
mm.
Immediately we're able to control they have no control about us again. Once we take uh, we set up and then make sure we are the ones in control of every natural resource, and in control of our own destiny, then they don't have a choice. The French very recently they were they've been hot because the African French countries,
Francophone
are
countries.
rebelling. Yeah,
Mhm.
you know, and that's what disappoints me when it comes to the AU, because as ECOWAS, as the AU, they're supposed to at least sit and then try and understand where these French countries are coming from, what they are trying to do,
Mm.
and then either you know back them, or try and talk them out of whatever you know ideology that they have, if it's in the negative. But what happened? Most of them just like, nah, coup isn't good, which of course coup is bad. It's like not the right route to take though. But you see what they're trying to do. They're trying to
Yeah.
claim their country. You understand? And then we have countries that I wouldn't mention, but you know, you know, trying to do the bidding of the West, by trying to force, and then it's sad.
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah,
It's
it's sad.
crazy. It's
So we should get our acts right once we come together, and then we see these are the last time I was thinking, I was like, these African leaders know exactly what to do to get our countries back on track. but then something is holding them back. They know these people
So
very,
you see, that's the thing. What is that something? Because if that something is corruption, then it means that corruption, that same corruption, is going to stop us from coming together when it gets to the point of, Africa uniting into a regional bloc. If it's lack of will, political will, or whatever they call it,
mm.
then it means that same obstacle will be there when it gets to that point. So I mean, you understand what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. No, so
So
we just need to change our leaders. we need we need I'm not we shouldn't we shouldn't follow the route that's
but how can you tell that person A or person B is a good leader? Because I mean, most of the time we judge them by their words. Yeah, I will do this when I come. I will change this. I'll change that. And because
yeah.
the person already in power is probably not doing what the person is preaching. Then it's like, yeah, you know
Mm.
what? Let's go for this guy. When he comes, he will change everything.
Yeah, and then
Then
they
we
come and
vote for
then there's
comes
disappointment.
and probably does worse. That's
Yeah.
the story of Africa, basically.
Yeah. So we should we as a people should set up. You can't just look on and then watch people, your own people, some you keep benefiting and benefiting and benefiting, and then your own people, some people can't have 3 square meals. Some people can't take their children to school. Some people don't have clean water,
Mhm.
and then you sit on your high horse, and then you should be ashamed of yourself. You shouldn't be proud.
And it's funny because some of them buy these huge mansions, both in Africa
Yeah,
and outside. They
you
drive all
know,
these expensive cars.
yes,
And it's like you ask yourself that money you used to buy that $1 million plus dollar mansion or maybe $250,000 car, whatever it is, could have provided, probably some borehole somewhere in some village, or could have built a
yeah,
school,
exactly.
or
Yeah,
could have provided a meal to a whole village for like
yes,
a year, you know.
exactly.
But
You know,
they're all thinking about themselves.
if see some you see some you see these are some of the reasons why I stopped listening to some of the news. Like sometimes it's so like it can just mess your day up. We've seen some monies that were in some ministers' homes.
Mm,
We've seen the amount of monies. What are those? Why is the money in your home? Millions of dollars packed in your home. You know, and as a leader, or yeah, as a leader, you shouldn't be proud of people who. I mean, you shouldn't be proud that people under your command are so impoverished they can't have clean water, and then you
mm.
have millions. There are times we're talking about these Middle Eastern people and the royal families, these royalties
Yeah,
and
yeah.
these royals. They are spending money.
Mm.
They're spending a lot of money. They are enjoying, but the people are not impoverished. You go to the UAE. I don't think the Emiratis themselves are like highly impoverished.
Mm.
I don't think you go to Qatar and see that the citizens of Qatar are highly impoverished. Like you really don't see that. Everybody is kind of okay. I don't think everybody is rich, but everybody,
Okay, so it's more
probably
like
decent.
you have a child, and you, the parents, always look nice and flashy, and your child looking
Exactly. And then the
impoverished.
child is always, yeah,
Nobody's gonna respect you because I mean it doesn't matter how well you look. If your kids are not being taken care of, no one
that's an
respects
awesome example. Exactly. Exactly. You see. So once the citizens are comfortable and you can blow all the money and your citizens are comfortable, they can, they can, they can take care of themselves, they can educate themselves, they can have proper food, they can afford anything at all they want to do, or even if they can afford, that the
you.
country, handles that for you and all of that. And your life is made far more easier, you know. You don't have headaches with transportation. You don't have headaches with food. You don't, you know, everything is, yeah, I mean, you really wouldn't complain much. But if you have millions of dollars
Mm.
and then your people are impoverished, there's this country, there's this African country. I think it's Guinea. It's not Guinea-Bissau. The oil, like the oil money, anytime oil is sold, the money goes into the president's family's like personal bank account.
It's crazy.
And the people are so highly impoverished. And these people have mansions all over the world.
It's ridiculous. It's just ridiculous.
It's bad, man.
How, you know, a lot of African leaders are insensitive to the plight of the common African.
Yeah,
It's just
yeah,
crazy.
yeah. And this is because a lot of the time, the people that want to take the country out of the poor conditions, all of these people are, you know, somehow, you know, taken care of,
Hmm.
executed, you
Yep.
know. Yeah. And then puppets are put there, and then they they are given a lot of money, and then the 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 the, the resources of the country is exploited by other people. It's
It's,
sad.
it's, it's just crazy. But our time is almost up. So I'm gonna
Yeah,
do it.
man.
I was able to put together some points and some facts about, you know, the attempts made by Africa to, you know, unite into a regional bloc. So I'm gonna state those for you guys, you know, the history
Mm,
maps. So, you know, you have an idea of, you know, what is going on in that regard. So historical attempts, there's been a couple. Uh, you know, we had the Pan-Africanism, you know, when people like Kwame Nkrumah and Jomo Kenyatta and Nnamdi Azikiwe and
mm-hmm.
Malcolm X, you know, E.D. Du Bois and
Really,
Joy
yeah.
Padmore, all those
Okay.
people were, you know, advocating for Africa, you know, to be independent, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think that was you know, the earliest times of Pan-Africanism. Then the OAU was established in 1963.
Mm.
The aim was to promote unity and solidarity among African states and also to eradicate colonialism.
Oh,
But I
oh.
mean, I think we are all aware that it faced numerous challenges. So they didn't do, you know, much of a good job with that, you know. So
Yeah.
then some of the setbacks, you know, that kind of hindered the OAU from achieving its aims were political instability, economic disparities, and also colonial legacies, you know, where the borders drawn by our colonial masters are still fighting against us, basically.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah. So from the OAU came the African Union, which was established in 2002, and
Mm.
they kind of replaced the OAU and with a stronger mandate, you know, to promote economic integration and political unity. The OAU, I mean, they've made some significant strides, you know, peacekeeping, conflicts, resolution, and promoting democratic governance. But as far as the core issue of bringing Africans together into one, you know, country or one bloc is still at large. So there's also this thing or this pact or this uh, agreement called the African Continental Free Trade Area, called
Yeah. Exactly.
AFTA.
Yeah.
It was launched in 2021. Aims to create a single market for goods and services across all
Yeah.
54 countries,
Mm.
you know, making it the largest free trade area in the world, you know, by a number
Yeah.
of participating countries.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, it's quite recent, and we hope that it makes an impact. You know, so
Yeah. Guess what is slowing down after?
I come again.
Guess what is slowing down after?
Oh, what is that?
Language barrier
That's what I'm saying. That, you know,
and
those
currency. Yeah.
colonial masters, man, the colonial legacies is messed up.
It's crazy.
It's crazy. As far as
Yeah.
future plans for Africa Uniting, there's this thing called Agenda 2063. It's a strategic framework by the AU that outlines Africa's vision for socioeconomic transformation over the next 50 years. It includes goals for political unity, economic integration, and and sustainable development. Sorry. And also we have the infrastructure development. There are plans to improve infrastructure such as the Trans-African Highway Network, which aims to enhance connectivity and facilitate trade across the continent, and also the digital integration. So efforts are being made to improve digital infrastructure and connectivity, which is also crucial for modern economic integration. So, I mean, there are small steps being made here and there to to that end, but we'll see how far it goes and if it achieves any reasonable feat. So, Daniel, what do you think?
Why economic growth in the next 50 years? Why not improve economic growth within the next 15 years? Or maybe I'm just not being realistic. I just feel like 50, oh.
Like you said, I think maybe there are certain realistic expectations. They don't want to say 15 because they know it's not going to happen.
Yeah. If we have control of our own, our own food, if we have control of our own transportation, of our own minerals, our own airlines, Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire share a border. It's cheaper to fly from London, and this is from a YouTuber, and I checked it out, and it's true. It's cheaper to fly from London to France than to fly from Accra to Abidjan.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's mad. And it's so expensive to fly from one African country to another. Very, very cool. See how cheap it is to fly within Europe. Yeah. And then from one African country to probably see Accra and Cote d'Ivoire. We're just next door. Accra is the capital, Abidjan is the capital of Cote d'Ivoire. Flying from Accra and
it should probably cost less than $100,
Yeah, it should be cheap. But this isn't the case. That's like a 40-minute flight or something.
But I mean, there's been several attempts, made by different African airlines to have a very sustainable flight for within Africa, outside. But most of them failed. I mean, Ghana Airways, for instance, I don't even want to go there. And so many other national flights, African owned by Africa. It's just
so let's ask ourselves, how is Ethiopian Airlines doing it?
And it seems that's the only airline.
Yeah, that's the only. Yeah, exactly. That's the only major airline. Yeah, for now, yeah. Ethiopian Airlines is like the biggest airline in Africa right now. So how are they doing it?
Man.
I mean, I heard during the times of Ghana Airways, a flight could be delayed because one minister is late to board the flight from Ghana to like New York or something. Or, one minister is late. So we just sit on the tarmac and just wait for this minister. Or in fact, one flight, I'll look for those YouTube channels and I'll forward them to you. One flight was cancelled or was late because one minister took the plane to Nigeria to do business and the plane didn't come back early. So it's mad. It's madness.
It's just ridiculous.
Madness. So it all boils down to leadership. That's what I always say,
Well, all too soon our time is almost up.
Man.
This topic is really interesting. I enjoy talking about it.
It's quite deep. Yeah.
And there are so many aspects or so many branches you can get into when you tackle this topic. And
Mm,
if we stay on it, we might go on for weeks, if not months, So we
I
just
know, right?
I
I
mean, we'll
know.
still be, hitting it here and there, in our coming episodes, but we'll end the main thing here, And hopefully, if you have any points, any reactions, any additions, you can, add it in the comments, or you can let us
Yep.
know. But
Yep.
before we go, Jamel, do you have the answer to the question?
Yeah.
Sorry.
You don't even need to repeat the question. Don't worry. Because it's quite
Well, just for the.
Yeah, okay, sure. For the
All right,
views.
I'll just
For the
repeat the
viewers,
question
yeah.
for the viewers, so they know
Yeah.
what one. All right, so hold on. Okay, who was the first president of independent Ghana?
Yeah. The possible answers are
Yeah, so for the multiple choice, we have Nelson Mandela, we have Julius Nyerere, we have Kwame Nkrumah,
yeah.
we have Jomo Kenyatta.
Yeah.
So what is the answer? I mean,
Kwame Nkrumah, man. Jomo Kenyatta is Kenya. Nyerere, who is Nyerere? Nyerere is Tanzania, right?
I think so. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And who was the first one?
Mandela.
Nelson. Yeah, no, South Africa, yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. It's a
Yeah.
Kwame our one and only.
This one, if you got it wrong, Charlie,
Yo, I'll be cooked in
King
the
Spa,
comments.
Charlie.
Yeah. You know, be
But
cooked in the comments.
so we all too soon, we've come to the end. Jamel, you have any proverbs?
Yeah. I've got like two.
No, okay.
So these are both West African proverbs. I'll give the proverb and I'll give the meaning, I'll give the origin.
Okay.
That's where it's from. So the first one is rain does not fall on one roof only. Rain does not fall on one roof only. And the meaning is misfortune comes to everyone.
Yeah.
And this is a Cameroonian proverb.
Mm.
And then the second one is when an old man dies, a library bends to the ground.
Mm.
When an
Hold
old
on.
man dies, a library bends to the ground. The elderly, this is the meaning, the elderly hold immense knowledge. This is a Malian proverb
Mm.
from Mali. Yeah. So we go one from Cameroon, we go one from Mali.
That's pretty dope.
Solid. Yeah, man.
All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed this episode. We try to explore some of the reasons and some of the possibilities, for Africa to come together as a regional bloc.
Yep.
I'm sure we are all witnesses to what is going on in Africa. So
Yeah.
whether it's succeeding or not, so
It'll take a while.
hopefully, the leaders move in the right direction and make the right decisions so that we can all,
Yeah.
enjoy the motherland.
I know,
So
right?
all right, so we've come to the end. Thanks for joining us. As always, it's myself and Jamil.
Yeah, man.
So
Yeah, man.
it's a bye for
Thanks.
now.
Thanks for listening to us. Yes.
Oh yes, and don't forget to subscribe.
Yep.
So we'll keep
Sure.
bringing you some thought-provoking content as always.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. As always.
All right,
As
so
always.
bye for now.
All right. On the tarmac and just wait for this minister. Or in fact, one flight, I'll look for those YouTube channels and I'll forward them to you. One flight was cancelled or was late because one minister took the plane to Nigeria to do business, and the plane didn't come back early. So the like it's mad. It's madness.
It's just
It's
ridiculous. But
madness. You know.
uh,
So it all boils down to leadership. That's what I always say.
well,
Uh,
all too soon, our time is almost up.
yeah, man.
This topic is really interesting. I
It's
enjoy
quite
talking
deep.
about
It's
it,
quite deep. Yeah.
and there are so many aspects or so many branches you can get into when you tackle this topic. And
Mm,
if we stay on it, we might go on for weeks, if not months. So we
I
just
know, right?
I
I
mean, we'll
know.
still be, hitting it here and there, in our coming episodes, but we'll end the main thing here, and hopefully if you have any points, any reactions, any additions, you can, add it in the comments, or you can let us
Yep.
know. But
Yep.
before we go, Jamel, do you have the answer to the question?
Yeah. You don't even need to repeat the question. Don't worry. Because it's coming.
Well, just for the
Yeah, okay, sure. For the
all right,
views.
I'll just
For the
repeat the
viewers,
question
yeah.
for the viewers, so they know
Yeah.
what I'm. All right, so hold on. Okay, who was the first president of independent Ghana?
Yeah. The possible answers are
Yeah, so for the multiple choice, we have Nelson Mandela, we have Julius Nyerere, we have Kwame Nkrumah,
yeah.
we have Jomo Kenyatta.
Yeah.
So what is the answer? I mean,
Kwame Nkrumah, man. Jomo Kenyatta is Kenya. Nyerere, who is Nyerere? Nyerere is Tanzania, right?
I think so. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And who was the first one?
Mandela.
Nelson. Yeah, no, South Africa, yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. It's a Kwame Nkrumah, our one and only.
This one, if you got it wrong, Charlie,
Yo, I'll be cooked in
case
the
bar,
comments.
Charlie.
Yeah. You know,
But
cooked in the comments.
so we all too soon, we've come to the end. Jamel, you have any proverbs?
Yeah. I've got like two.
No, okay.
So these are both West African proverbs. I'll give the proverb, I'll give the meaning, I'll give the origin.
Okay.
That's where it's from. So the first one is rain does not fall on one roof only. Rain does not fall on one roof only. And the meaning is misfortune comes to everyone.
Yeah.
And this is a Cameroonian proverb.
Mm.
Right? Yeah. And then the second one is when an old man dies, a library burns to the ground.
Mm.
When an
Hold
old
on.
man dies, a library burns to the ground. The elderly, this is the meaning, the elderly hold immense knowledge. The elderly hold immense knowledge. This is a Malian proverb
Mm.
from Mali. Yeah. So we go one from Cameroon, we go one from Mali.
That's pretty dope.
Solid. Yeah, man.
All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed this episode. We try to explore some of the reasons and some of the possibilities, for Africa to come together as a regional bloc.
Yep.
I'm sure we are all witnesses to what is going on in Africa. So
Yeah.
whether it's succeeding or not, so
It'll take a while.
hopefully, the leaders move in the right direction and make the right decisions so that we can all,
Yeah.
enjoy the motherland.
I know,
So
right?
all right, so we've come to the end. Thanks for joining us. As always, it's myself and Jamil.
Yeah, man.
So
Yeah, man.
it's a bye for now.
Thanks for listening to us. Yes.
Oh yes, and don't forget to subscribe.
Yep.
So we'll keep
Sure.
bringing you some thought-provoking content as always.
Yeah, man. As always.
All right, so bye for now.
All right.